Welcome back to Brickspiration, formerly known as Jam's Lego Studio, and today we have a very nice alien swarm fighter. Now this is built to complement the style of my work in progress alien heavy cruiser with its slim and organic profiling, as well as big smooth shapes. Additionally, I represent it with the color scheme being obviously the sand green, the trans dark blue, in which these windshield pieces were very hard to find on Bricklink for a cheap price, as well as the dark gray and the light gray. Combining those together gives me a very nice color scheme. And then as for the engines, briefly mentioned for now, we'll get to more later, but the trans neon green. So this is built digitally and physically at the same time, so that proposes its own unique challenge. So I modeled this on Bricklink Studio, and one limitation of it, which is there is no flex tool. So unfortunately, the model doesn't include the flex tube and these sand green clips and these blue lightning bolt or blue sword pieces. But other than that, the model is fully completed on Bricklink Studio. And instructions are planned to be released soon. However, I have some behind the scenes kind of things to do before I can publish those instructions. And I'll make an announcement video for when the instructions are going to be available. So I'm going to first start out with the wings that I mentioned a second ago, which use a design with flex tubing in it. And connected to the flex tubing is these sand green clips, as well as these trans dark blue swords. Now this really does help with the organic shaping of the ship, as well as you can see the anti-studs of these are actually a more desired look compared to other bricks. In which, for example, you have the nice like chiseled squares in the inside versus a 2x4 brick, for example, just with 3 holes and I guess more a hard design to use for the anti-studs. So that's that. And I have those connected using Technic connectors to the middle of the frame in a sturdy but thin fashion to keep the slim look, as well as keep a little bit of the organic look as well. So next I'm going to move on to the engines of the ship. And this engine actually does have 3 LEDs in it. So I'll show a segment where the lights are shut off, where LEDs really do shine bright. So I was able to use the like big plastic wheels to get a very more like mechanical kind of shape. So additional to the organic, I'm going for hints of mechanical to throw in a very unique twist to the build, which makes it really pop out from other ones. And then using the holes in the center, I'm able to wire the LEDs through to the back here, to this trans neon green dish, which you can just barely make out the bulbs of the LEDs in there. So now I'm going to move on to the cockpit of the ship, which is a very slim profile with lots of depth details. So besides like just using like snot brick and then putting tiles on the side, There's also brackets to offset it by a logometric unit, as well as using jumper plates to like more outlines around certain details. And then earlier I mentioned that these trans dark blue domes are very, very expensive pieces to order on Bricklink. And also I lit up the cockpit using an LED or two in there. And you can see a minifigure in there, though it is fairly tight. And the way I would do it is that this front piece just pops out, and you can barely squeeze the minifigure in there. And on the inside, there's a little control panel if it is piloted. But earlier I mentioned the organic kind of look for this design, and so it's meant to be able to like almost fly itself, being more of an organic mechanical creature using alien technology. So now that we covered the front, first we have these 4 smaller laser cannons in the front, as well as more of a sword nose. But now we're going to go down to the stand that I designed. So the stand is very, very sturdy, smooth, and compact, and doesn't distract from the build, which is a key component of it. You don't want it being all the same color scheme, so the black really separates the stand from the spaceship that I built. And having it a very smooth look to not be distracting. And an interesting part of the stand design is that I can actually angle the ship in different ways on it. So I can, like right now, you can see, like on the handle on the inside, it's pitched over to the, at least the way you're looking at it, the right side. And I can inverse that and put it back in the left. And what makes it able to pick up is you can see that Technic axle that rams up below some Technic beams and carries the stand with the ship. So if I wanted to come set it down, it's really nice and easy. And also, if you don't want to have it on the stand and you want to play around with it, it's going to be hard with one hand, but you can grab that carry handle and you can actually swoosh it around here, which it is actually stable enough to sit on the engines, so I can grab this and kind of go swooshy, swooshy, swoosh. Unrealistic swooshing actions, but it looks really, really good on those curves when it's turning with the blue and the organic curves of the wings. Their overall shaping and detail came out very, very well. So now I'm going to set this back on the stand, and we'll go into a segment where I'll show you the lights. For the wiring system, I'm not using Lego's LEDs because that system doesn't fit in the many things. The size, as well as being more ridiculously expensive, and if you wire your own LEDs, you can get into much tighter spaces, as well as have brighter LEDs. So I'm using a 9-volt battery to power the system. And on the top here, you might not have noticed, as it's very detailed and hidden, but there's a 9-volt connector to some LEDs I have wired. See a flicker of the light there, it really does go bright. It's hard one-handed to plug this in, but the battery will fit right in between this notch. Instead of pushing in there, and it'll flex this a little bit in the design but it had to fit within a 2 stud wide space, and it barely does. So now the cover's back on, and you can see the bright blue dome in the front really makes this thing pop. And you can see that the engine is very bright. You can just see the reflection off of my storage bin of how really good it is in bright daylight. So now I'm gonna take this over to a different room so that I can show you it in the dark. It's hard right now to do this because it's daylight outside, but even just this is very good. You can see the LEDs really do pop out and really make the model come to another level. You can see the engine really does make a nice flare in the back, and the overall aesthetic balances with the LEDs. So, now to the end of the video. So if you want to see a lighting tutorial, please let me know down in the comment section below or in the poll that I'll have above, as well as there might be a link for LED lights and wires that I've used down in the description. If not, and if you want me to do a lighting tutorial and how I wired up the LEDs, please let me know and like and subscribe, and so that can help me inspire the next generation of Lego builders. And with that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.